Earlier today, I finally received my delivery of a couple of pairs of Feelgrounds. So let's open these up and see what's inside. So to try out the brand, never worn them before, heard a lot about them, see them online quite a lot, so I thought I'd get two pairs to give them both a try. Got two different styles here. My hope is that one pair I will definitely keep for holiday if they fit, and another pair, if they fit, I'll end up keeping them and have to figure out how to explain that one to the wife. Let's open up box number one. So one thing I will say just before we get into the rest of the video, I probably am going to run on quite long in this video. I will leave chapters down below, so if you want to skip ahead to each of the specific shoes and all the way to the end maybe for my conclusion, you can do so. Just wanted to give you the heads up that you are about to experience me trying these shoes on for the first time. So bear with, enjoy, let me know what you think, and if you do get bored, skip ahead. Back to the video. So this first pair that I've got is the Droptop knit. They do this Droptop style in a few different materials, at least a couple. This is the knit one. As you can tell, this is just a slip-on. If you saw my previous video with the Zeros, the Zero shoes, they had a slip-on as well, but they tapered into the toe. I'm hoping, looking at the bottom of these might cater to the big toe a little bit better. So we shall try them on in a second, but just to go around the look and feel of them so far, we've got a black knit upper mesh. It feels very like a mesh, kind of got a sponge-like feel to it. So I'm expecting these to be quite breathable. They feel very soft, which is quite nice, even just on the hand. No insole in it, just straight to the actual sole, which is fine by me, to be honest. There's not really much else to talk about. The sole, yeah, I mean, I was gonna say the sole felt a bit thicker than what you might expect on a Vivo, but I will reserve that judgment until I actually put them on. Size-wise, just by looking at them, of course I'm gonna put them on in a sec, I'll jump over to the floor. They at least look petite. Hopefully they'll make my feet look petite when they're in. Nice little feel ground detail on the back. Flexible, soft. I wanna say relatively lightweight. The sole is that you actually really notice, because there's so little upper on the top of this, the sole feels relatively heavy. It's not a heavy shoe by any means. It's, I don't know, a few hundred grams at best. Let's actually, before we do, because I'll have to move the camera because I've just propped this all up tonight, because it is a Friday night at time of recording, and I thought I need to open these up and check them out. Let's have a look at the other pair before I head over to the floor. Then I'll come back and give my thoughts. And then we have the Courtside Classic. So this is a faux leather, I believe, vegan leather. Classic kind of trainer. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. It looks probably a little bit dark, actually. Hold it close to the light, if that helps. The reason I went for this is actually I think is their most popular style. You see that in different colors like black on white and red on white and things like that. It's kind of cool. But I was just trying to see how this maybe would compare to maybe like a Geo Court 3 from Vivo, because I love those as a smart casual trainer, leather. So I was hoping that this might be up to the task of taking that head on. This is a bit more like an Air Force One, something like that from Nike, which I quite like, because traditionally you don't get what you would call a typical trainer in barefoot shoes. But again, super lightweight. I think, yeah, they're kind of probably a little bit heavier, obviously, but they're both incredibly light. That is honestly just over about 200 grams. Yeah, and this one can't be much more. Light, flexible, like not stiff in any way. No need to break this in, I don't think. Feels super soft. You can probably see on the bottom that this probably gives me a bit more space for the toe, which we'll find out in just a moment. But the more I look at this, the more I'm thinking, is my foot going to fit in there? Because that looks a little bit narrow. I know, so they have the measurements on the website. I actually ordered them before I checked the measurements, because I just went for 14, UK 14, because that's usually my size. I was right, UK 13 in length might have been just at the edge. There's plenty of length in this. However, it does, which I think is pretty decent, show you the internal width of the insole, which is technically not the actual internal width because the shape of a shoe and the shape of your feet is probably a little bit wider than that, but it should be thicker than that, or wider should I say. It should be wider than that, but we shall see. Let's try them on. All right, first let's try on the Droptop. Okay, so let's try on the Droptop. Okay, so let's try on the let's try these shoes on. So for anyone that doesn't know, these are a size UK 14. My feet are a 14. They're long, they're reasonably wide, not mega wide, but let's see how they. So let me show you. These are what they look like on my pasty white legs. I don't normally have a mic on when I'm doing this, you see. Now, you'd probably more likely to not wear socks when you're wearing these. However, I always put socks on in the shoes because at some point I'm likely to wear socks. So what I don't want to do is get used to them without socks on and think that those few extra mil don't matter, because every millimeter counts. But this is what they look like. I will show you them without socks on, just so you can see. So this is kind of more of what I'd expect when I'm wearing them, to be honest with you. I probably would be wearing these on holiday, or just as a casual slip-on around the house. Not around the house, but like nip into a shop or something like that. You don't want to faff around with shoes with loads of laces. A nice slip-on. So let me tell you the pros. This knit is really nice and soft on the feet. It's nice, cushiony around the ankles, around the heel. It's all super soft. It doesn't feel too tight. If you've got a higher foot or a higher arch, I think you'd be okay in these because, yeah, I mean, I feel like I've got a bit of vertical space in them. I don't have the highest feet, but these, I want to say that they're too narrow, weirdly. So the length, my toe is there. I mean, if I push my heel to the very back, I've got a little bit of space, but my toe, even if I push my foot to the outside, so my big toe can press on the end here, and then the side of my foot is pressing here. But what I'm really noticing as well is this sole tucks in. This bit here, this bit is really narrow for the inside of my foot, and maybe that's because I've got a bit of a flatter foot, but I can feel that digging in, and that would drive me insane because it tucks where it meets in here. It sort of is tucking in to the seam, so I'm feeling it tuck inside there and kind of create a weird like pressure on this part of my foot. And then on the outside, my foot is pressing against it here. So across the midfoot, yeah, midfoot, yeah. So there's a ball of my big toe run up here. Pressure. So I'm feeling it. To show one foot next to the other, I can feel it here. The toe is touching a little bit, not as much as the Zero shoes, definitely not, but or at least in this one because it's very soft. But it is pressing. That would get annoying. Probably not the be all and end all. Yeah, it is the be all end all because I wouldn't wear them. And then I'm getting the pressure here. So underneath the arch, that's happening here, and really narrow here. So probably just enough length, but not enough width in the midfoot, not enough width here. Yeah, dead too tight. And I also think as well that this bit, because of this seam here,
maybe that's what's making it feel worse. It's actually this bit that's digging in. Yeah, that's what I can feel more than anything else. I wonder if, I don't think it's possible, but I wonder if that seam was somewhere else, maybe further down, or wasn't there at all somehow, a complete single unit. You wouldn't have that annoyance. It would be less obvious. Probably a bit more like that area. Nah, it's a no. So then let's try the Courtside Classic. I'd be interested. Yeah, I mean, I assume I'm gonna have the exact same problem here, look, because this sole, which, you know, kudos to them in that respect. These soles, to me, as far as I can tell, are pretty bang on the same. So good marks for that, but let's just double check. And here we have the Courtsides. Courtsides, yeah. Courtside Classic. And looks wise, I do think they look pretty similar to a Air Force One or a Dunk or whatever they're called. Just about enough space in the toe. I'd probably say that's a pretty good fit for me lengthwise. It's not, it's kind of, see, my toe is there, but it does come out enough, I would say, at least for me. I mean, you're actually experiencing my process right now. When I try these shoes on, I kind of have to just like marinate on them for a minute. After what's been probably about 5 or 10 minutes wandering around my kitchen and my house, just trying these out to try and decide whether I actually like the fit or not. Firstly, the toe area, the toe box. So from like this, the big toe ball bit forward, like that mid, I don't know what area that's called, but this bit forward, the toe box here, where my toes are. Actually less, I'm not getting any noticeable pressure where my big toe would be. If I really flare my toes out, yes, it touches there. I can touch, there's my big toe on the thing there. But realistically, when it's relaxed, it's not there all the time. It's so soft. This is so soft that it's not an issue. So that's fine. The same with sort of the outside bit here. They can, again, if I flare my toes, brush this outside bit. But that's fine. The real issue is the same. It's the same as on these. It's the same as with the drop tops, if I can say the flipping word. It's still this bit here. So this pressure. So the toe area fine. So like from here forward, nice space. So here forward. But here to here, this bit here, it's just oddly tight. So I think that's it's this taper. This taper comes in a little too harsh. Let me see on the white one. This taper here, this to me feels a bit narrow. I understand that if you've got a really good posture in your feet, that bit probably does get narrow, but for me, I don't know if you can tell, but my feet aren't the highest of arches. They're relatively flat, you know. Maybe it rolls in more than it should. It probably should be a bit more out like that. But that, I can just feel it there. I can just feel it digging in. You see where the weight comes on and off? My foot naturally is going to want to spread out, and they're just too narrow. It's too narrow. I keep repeating myself and trying to explain it in many different ways, but the point is they are just too narrow in a different place, which is a shame, because they actually feel that pretty decent. Let's go back to the table to conclude. One thing I feel like I don't get across clear enough in these videos is the actual
shape or size of my feet. So I've just got a bit of green A4 paper. I'm going to draw the lines and measure them so you can actually see what I'm working with. Now that you've experienced what it's like to be in the room, more or less, with me when I try on these shoes or any shoes at all, let me just say welcome to the inner circle. Let's look at the drop tops. Drop tops, drop top, drop top, raindrop.
Cooking the hot pot.
Drop top knit. I think my overall summary with these shoes, I'll just try and group them together. I won't take any longer than I need to on this. I know I can talk for far too long on these things. Let me try and be as succinct as possible. These shoes, specifically these anyway, I obviously can't speak to the entire range from Feelgrounds, but these shoes feel nice. They feel, the materials feel good quality. They feel pretty well put together from the limited time that I've had with them. I can't say for sure on the long-term durability because this is just pretty much straight out the box first impressions. However, they feel good, no defects in them as far as I can see. The materials feel nice. They're both really lightweight. They're both incredibly flexible. The brand is trying to use responsible materials, recycled materials, should I say. Check out the website for all the details on exactly what goes into these shoes. But for me, while that's all great, of course, the only reason you're ever going to buy one of these shoes, or any shoes, is if they fit or not. And for me, that is one of the biggest reasons why I got into the barefoot shoe space. Yes, the ethical side of things and what the brands are trying to do and positive impact on the environment is all really good and makes me feel good as well. And it's nice to know that I'm supporting companies that are, you know, trying to do better. But for me, I'm only ever going to buy a product that is right for me, makes sense, and ultimately does what I need it to do. Sadly, these don't. They do succeed where the zeros failed, in that the toe box areas, for me anyway, this bit, I literally think I said it needs to come out further. These kind of solve that issue. They come out a bit more. I had more toe space, but weirdly, hopefully that's not overexposed, but weirdly, they just taper way too tight at this bit. They just taper maybe too soon because the heel's not necessarily too wide, but they taper just a bit too soon in my opinion. But again, props for them with what looks like, again, between these two, is a really consistent sole mold. Just to show you the size, here's my extremely accurate representation of my feet. And you know, I am somewhat flat-footed, my ankles are rolling in a bit, but that being said, just so you know what I'm working with, like the width, the widest part of my feet, between 11.5 to 12 centimeters, like 11.5 to 12-ish mil. Again, not super accurate. Let me just double check on the left foot. Around the same, like 12-ish centimeters in width on my foot when it's flat. And the very rough length was what I've measured it out to be, between 31 and 32 centimeters, depending on how accurate my measurement is. The size 14s, the UK 14 for the Feelgrounds was, I think it's 32 centimeters in length, so or just over actually. So I had the length, actually fits really well in the length, like I've said, just the width. Just comes too keen on the width. So to just summarize whether I think you should check Feelground shoes out or not, for me, you've seen my experience tonight, it's a no. I've got a very strict fit tolerance. If they're too tight in one area, if something's rubbing just a little bit straight away, I'm gonna send them back, which is what's gonna happen with these. I'm sending these both back. I don't ever wanna put a pair of shoes on and they go, well, it needs breaking in. That's not what I'm about anymore. If they don't spark joy straight away when I put them on my feet, they go straight back. Sadly, that's these. I do think though, if you've been eyeing up Feelgrounds, you're not sure what the fit of them is like, the length is true to size. All of their sizes are on the website and they're pretty clear. From my experience, they seem pretty accurate. The width that I saw probably wasn't wide enough when I placed the order, but I'd already ordered them at that point. So I kind of was expecting these to potentially be narrow. I was right. It's still, we're talking like a centimeter or whatever, but that can be the difference. If you've, some of the people I've been speaking to in the comments have got way wider feet than I have. So I'm kind of like middle of the pack when it comes to actual width in feet. So if you're wider than me, probably give them a miss. But I think for maybe the majority of people, maybe people that are transitioning or wanting to check out barefoot shoes, check out Feelgrounds. They are worth taking a look at. They're reasonably priced as well compared to other brands. For me, people might say I'm a Vivo fanboy. I do like the shoes. I think they are premium. They are premium in price as well, that's for sure. But I think they look good. Most of them look great. Some of them not so much, as with most brands. But the fit on those as well is a little bit more inconsistent, I would say. So, you know, from these two, they've been pretty much identical. In fact, it was just the seam on this one that was probably making it feel, making that taper feel more exaggerated than it actually was. So any of the other shoe styles like this, it wouldn't be as intense. Check them out. Let me know what you think. I'll leave some links to these shoes in the description of this video. Let me know if you do get a pair. Let me know if you've already got a pair of these. Let me know if there's other brands you think I should check out. Remember, I've showed you the width and length of my feet now. Point me in the direction. I'm happy to try others. So far, Vivo, for me, Vivo Barefoot is still king, but hopefully the video has been helpful. If you're interested in any Vivo Barefoot shoes and you've not bought any barefoot shoes at all, there'll be some links for those in the description as well. If it's your first order, you can save some money. If you've already ordered before, you can save some money. But yeah, hopefully this is helpful. Hit like if it was. If you want to see some more videos like this in the future, if you like hanging out with me, if you like seeing me try shoes on or measure my feet, or just generally talk too much, hit subscribe and I will see you all again very soon.